it more tellable. Also, to suit our today's topic, important conversation. And I hope that it will inspire some interest in you and motivate you to read the original story. Name of the story is Iswaran by R.K. Narayan. The whole student community in Malgudi was very excited. Excited for the result of the intermediate examination. The intermediate examination result was to be displayed at the Senate House that evening. That particular evening in June was very important for all the students. And everyone was excited except one person, Iswaran. Iswaran went about his business looking very unconcerned and detached. Iswaran had earned a title of having aged in the intermediate class. Well, it was his 10th attempt, 10th year of trying to pass the intermediate examination. Initially, his parents were really sympathetic towards him, but quickly they also lost their interest. In fact, his father used to suggest now and often, why don't you just discontinue your studies and do something useful? Just one last chance, father, one last chance. Iswaran used to beg. While his parents ran out of their patience, the whole of the Malgudi used to just laugh at Iswaran. Even kids used to laugh at him. And even Iswaran had changed in ways that even he didn't realize or recognize. For example, when someone inquired, he used to tell them a wrong hall ticket number. Or sometimes he used to say, no, this year I haven't filled any form. Or sometimes, well, most of the times, he used to just change his path and avoid meeting the person altogether. That particular day also, there was a heated conversation between Iswaran and his father. From next year, I'm not going to give you money even to fill the form for the examination, said his father. Iswaran was really hurt, but he didn't say anything. Instead, he got ready and stepped out. Mother, don't prepare anything for me for dinner. Don't even wait for me. I'll eat something in a hotel, he said to her as he stepped out, without even looking at her. Iswaran came out, but then he didn't know what to do, where to go. He decided, I'll directly go to the Palace Talkies and watch 2 back-to-back shows. That had worked 1 year. So that is what he did. He went to the Palace Talkies and bought a ticket. He didn't even bother looking what was the movie. As he settled in his chair, he quickly got engrossed in the movie. The movie was about Tamil gods and goddesses. Iswaran was watching their royal lifestyle, nice fancy clothes, horses. Lucky fellows, Iswaran thought. They don't need to appear for any examination, nor do they have to wait for any results. Well, everything was going according to plan. He wanted to avoid going to Senate House. He went to a nearby hotel, had coffee, some snacks, and again came back for the second show. Well, now there was trouble though. He felt a change in the air. You see, many of the groups of boys had come to celebrate their result with a picture. I know, Iswaran thought, very unsettled. Once the movie is over and the lights are switched on, they all will be on to me and the teasing will restart. Better get out of here. So Iswaran looked for a side exit and he slipped out. He came out and was feeling just about little relieved. Exactly that time, he overheard a conversation. Two boys were talking. One asked the others, "What are you planning to do next?" Iswaran just stood in his tracks, just stopped there. The question wasn't directed at him, but the question kind of hit him. What next? What next? Iswaran banged his head on a pillar. I can't even pass one exam in 10 attempts. I'm not fit to live. Really, what good is it to live? The more Iswaran thought about it, more the idea developed in his mind. Iswaran decided something. He went straight back to the hotel. The hotel owner was his friend. He asked for a pencil and a paper. "So late as this, Sirji?" said the hotel owner. It was really midnight. Iswaran scribbled a note and gave the pencil back, saying, thank you so much." He folded it neatly and kept in his coat pocket. And then he headed directly towards the Saryu, the river. When he arrived at the banks of Saryu, he was very alert and aware. He knew what he was doing. He removed his coat, saying, "I must keep the coat on the steps of Saryu." He folded it nicely and he kept it on the steps. Then Iswaran started going into the water. As he waded through the water, at one point he stopped. He hardly could see anything because it was midnight, but he could feel that the water had good flow. Iswaran stood there, kind of trying to make sense of everything that had happened the whole day, the whole year, the whole decade, probably. He looked over his shoulders and he wondered. The Senate House was visible even from over there. He never knew that. And a thought crossed his mind. Why not? Why not take a last look at the results? Anyway, my decision is final. Slowly, Iswaran came out of the water and started walking towards the Senate House. His feet were all cold, wet, and sand covered when he was rightly standing in front of the notice boards. Huge notice boards hung on the huge off-white walls. Iswaran started looking for his number. Third class list. 501, 501, 504. Failed again. What next? The river. Iswaran started to turn back. Then he remembered something. The honors. I have not seen how many have obtained the honors. So many. I wonder how they do that. Second class. 501. 501. 501. Second class. Check again. 501. Could this be true? Could this really be true? That means I have not failed. That means I have passed. That means I have passed. And that also means my dream will come true. I'll sit in the BA class. Just next month, I'll sit in the BA class. I will flay alive anyone who will call me a fool hereafter. Blood started racing through his veins. He thumped his chest and asked the notice board, "Do you know who I am?" The notice board looked at Iswaran. "Do you know who I am? I am the king. Is my horse ready?" Iswaran walked out of the Senate House like a king. He came down the porch and he stood on the last stair. "Bring the horse near, you fool! Bring the horse near." Iswaran's horse was brought near. and Iswaran mounted on his horse. Then he started racing towards the Saryu. Tagadak, 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 tagadak. Iswaran raced his horse through the silent and empty streets of Malgudi at midnight. Quickly, he arrived on the banks of Saryu. His voice echoed in the emptiness. Keep off! Keep off! The king is coming, and anyone who is in his way will get trampled. I have 501 horses. Hey, Prime Minister, Prime Minister, bring my 501 horses. They are all in the second classes. And so his new horse was brought. Iswaran mounted his new horse and again raced on the river bank. He was all sweat, covered with sweat. And suddenly his horse stopped. Hey, why have you stopped? Are you afraid of the water? You must swim across. You must swim across. Otherwise, I will not pay 501 rupees for you. As Ishwaran urged his horse on, surely he did feel that his horse made a leap into the water. The next day, Ishwaran's body came up at a spot little ahead of the banks. Meanwhile, many people had already discovered his coat and then found the note in his coat pocket. My dear father, when you will see this letter, I'll already be at the bottom of Saryu. I don't want to live. Don't worry about me. You have other sons who are not as dunces as I am. Iswaran. Friends, this might be an extreme example, but our self-talk shapes a lot of our life than we realize. And all of us have a scope to improve our self-talk and hence improve the quality of our life. I really encourage you to go and read this story and enjoy it once again. Iswaran by R.K. Narayan by Leena Kulkarni. Thank you so much for listening to my story.